Hi guys, this is Aaron. I play Magic way too much. Okay, I'm talking about Sorin, and I'm talking about a big creature deck. The last time I talked about Sorin, I talked about little creatures. Everything was under 6 casting cost. Oh, there were 2 or 3 cards over 6, but the general idea was quick, quick, quick. This time, let's talk about big creatures, and we're talking about mythics too, because I have deploy the Gatewatch, and now in every single white deck, you have to kind of think about this card because it's so powerful. And if you saw the Nirani um, uh, one I made, the video, it's like a 5 turn killer. I mean, all you got to do is get this out, and then you win the game. So let's start with this, and let's build the deck around it. So, of course, and I just got this card today. I've played it how many times already? So much. It's great because if it comes out as one of these 3 cards, it essentially comes out as a 12/12 with Trample and Haste and Berserker. And if it comes out in the right order and it comes out last, then all your other cards have Trample and Haste also and Berserker. So that's a big part of the combo. This is the most expensive creature I own, and once it's out, it does so many different things. It really just stops your opponent and makes your deck go a lot faster. So I have that in there. And then I like to either have 2 creatures or 3 creatures. I think you can probably do it with 2 creatures, but I have a third one, and I kind of decided between Desolation, Void Widower, and I played this, and this is just a garbage card. I thought maybe it would be good, but no. Um, but those are the creatures I kind of went between. I've played this 12 times. I've won 11 of 12. The one time I just couldn't get any creatures out. And so between these two, I've gone back and forth so many times, and I think my final choice is Desolation Twin over Void Widower because Void Widower kind of kills itself, and because the opponent has Defender. So I say this, and maybe only have 2 creatures. So if you're making any deploy of Gatewatch, these are the creatures you're going to think about, and those 2 are going to be in there for sure, and maybe a third, maybe a fourth. But so what did I do? I'm going to keep that in, and I'm going to remove that one from deck. That one I already removed from deck. Again, I just put that in as it's just one of the most expensive ones. I was like, hey, maybe, no. I also thought about other creatures in there, but non-creatures, like supports they're bringing out. I had this in there for a minute. Like I said, I played it so many different ways, but it just didn't work. Either you have big creatures or none, because it didn't do anything unless you had this with it, so you defended. Because when you're kind of out in the open, you don't have any creatures against. Maybe you have something that had couldn't cast spells on it. Then there you go. Now you want to be able to, using black, the big thing here is you want to kill their creatures. So if you're taking 4 turns or 6 turns to get out your creatures, because you don't even have the cards, you have to draw them, then get them out, you got to destroy their creatures, destroy their creatures, destroy their creatures, destroy their creatures. I had this in there for a while to destroy creatures. I'm going to remove it. But these are the kinds of things I was thinking about when making this deck, is how do I destroy the creatures while I'm waiting and waiting. The other thing is spells. Well, this did so well in my last deck, I just had to have it, and I played it for like a few games, and it just doesn't do anything when everything costs that much. I know it gives you 36, but it just wasn't the right thing to have in there. It makes your hand so expensive. Also, Transgress the Mind. Every time I talk about black decks, I'm like, you have to have it in every deck. You have to have it in every deck. I took it out. The problem is there's only room for 5, and you're really limited here, 5 spells. And if you have all these kill creatures, you really just are limited because you need to bide your time. So then I did do this because I have wanted another card to kind of disable the creatures, and here we go. White black, it's good because it speeds up your hand because your hand is so slow. I also put Fertile Thicket in there. I know it's green, and actually I put it in there for a few battles to speed it up. It never actually worked because, one, it was giving green to other people, and it was taking away my white and black. And it kind of was a long shot, but I had it in there. The other thing is I was thinking, oh, have these 2 or 3 cards that are so important. I need to cast them. Why don't I put in Tomio's Journal? Well, it just slowed down the deck, and actually I never got it out because it was never important enough to get out. So you can see what the deck is. This has been tested lots of times, so many variants. It's the best version of it, and I'm going to show you how it works. So it really hasn't lost. It lost 1. I've played 12 games. I lost 1. I think it was 2 or 3 games ago. We'll see right there. I've won 2 cents. And it's not a bad deck, but you really have to like watch each match, try to get as many gems as possible, which is fine if you're really focused on the game. But if you're just kind of sitting back and not too worried about it, it just seems like you have to get all these combinations to make it win, which is fine, but it's just not really fun to play, in my opinion. I usually play Deploy of Gatewatch, and this will probably never be cast by me, although I hopefully can get it out a different way. So we're looking for black and white matches. Let's go with that. Maybe I should have matched the white first because it takes away my opponent's matches, since he already cast all 3 of his cards. And this is kind of the other thing, actually. This is kind of how you get into trouble, because the opponent casts a lot more things than you. And also, I have no creatures. Read the abilities, gain life for every creature out there. Put a support when a creature attacks, or when you gain life when you gain life. All those in general have to do with creatures. I'm just going to leave it in that order. And if you don't have any creatures out, you're just dead. And so with these abilities, and you really want to tailor your deck to your Planeswalker's abilities, you kind of want low casting cost creatures, and you kind of want to get them out quick and take advantage of the abilities with that. So and that's the opposite of what this deck does. And I was kind of hoping it would be kind of cool and kind of fun to do, but it just didn't work out in the practical sense. So let's see what I get. I could have discarded a few cards so that I would have drawn extra. But there's my 12-12. There is essentially a 20. And perfect. It came out in the right order so that it works out. Think about it too. If you got 3 of the Desolation Twins and you had 2 30-30s out there, you would be, oh, he had prevent damage for a turn. Well, he played it on a good turn. But, so I'm tempted to play actually less creatures in this deck so that I always get like 3 of these in a row and it turns into a 36-36. And that would be one way to do it. But then if you don't get the Deploy of Gatewatch, then you're kind of screwed, because the chances of getting that, either one of those, your creature that you need, one of the 2 cards, you really doesn't work all the time, and that's when you would lose. And even if you have the 5 or 6 things to kill creatures, you can't hold them off forever. So, but here we go. Good time to make a video. I killed him in 4 turns, 5 turns. So when it works really well. But if you don't get the right cards, so it's kind of clunky. I like the idea of the deck, but it's just clunky. It's just not a reliable winner every time. You kind of really have to. I don't know. It's just not a deck for me. I don't think it's a bad deck. Obviously, I won in 4 turns, and that's the way to get high on the leaderboard. And one thing I kind of noticed is that these scores, while 1600 is impossible, not impossible, it's just not a score I'm going to reach, they're a little lower. I think it's because it's the end of, I think the people that have, there's only 6 mythics available. I'll start over. And I think everyone that plays a lot has those 6 mythics if they're in a top 10 coalition, or if they get, the number 1 prize all the time. So this is actually kind of the time, I think, when kind of some of the smaller fish, kind of the medium or active players, could win that. So don't be afraid to go after it, and this is the time to do it. Thanks, guys. Have a good day. Bye.